We have not had Nature's Remedies for several reasons for almost a month now. And we miss you, Dr. Denise Daley. Good evening. How are you, Doc?
Hi, Doc.
Good evening, Cliff. Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, listeners. I'm doing well.
You're
It's been
looking
a while.
well.
I miss you guys too.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. You come back with new hair spoil.
I like the earrings. I like the earrings. Doc.
Yes.
Thank you. Promoting our natural roots.
Yes.
Literally, so
Okay.
indeed. Thank you.
Good. All right. So we're going to be talking about the cannabis plant. Yes?
Yes, we will be talking about the cannabis plant. And I too want to just express well wishes to all the families that were affected by Hurricane Beryl. I know we're still recovering and it's, looking forward to some of summer.
Yes.
And what can we do to utilize some of our nature's remedies? Mm-hmm. Cannabis is one that we traditionally use in Jamaica. Do you guys know anything about cannabis?
It's a ganja plant, a ganja.
Yes, ganja.
Exactly.
We have so many common names for cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Ganja, marijuana, you have Mary Jane, and there's so many different names in different languages. Right? so many different, if you go in all the different countries that cannabis is grown and available, there's so many different common names that you'll hear.
Mm-hmm.
And so many different uses. But there are medicinal value to cannabis, not just the smoking and the traditional religious effect of it or the recreational effect, but what are some of the medicinal value of cannabis? And we want to look at it from a nutraceutical standpoint. Now, it's one of the only plants it is the only plant that has cannabidiols. Now, our bodies also have cannabidiol receptors, so it can actually pair and help our bodies with certain ailments. So we'll talk about some ailments that research has shown improved effects with, and therefore an increase in the medicinal cannabis research. Can we identify, I'd love to hear from you guys, can you identify the cannabis plant? If you see it in the bush, can you say, that is ganja, that's marijuana?
Yes.
I can identify.
Yes. So you have the leaves looking palmate, we'll say. It has those little streaks or leaflets, we'll call them.
Uh-huh.
And we have different types. You have the cannabis sativa. That's the one that's it's narrow and it's normally taller.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the one that has the fatter leaves and normally shorter.
Mm-hmm.
We know those as well. I want you to visualize it with me. And then we have cannabis ruderalis, or we call it hemp. It's a cross between the sativa and the indica, and it's used in a lot of the industries where we'll see hemp seed oil, you'll see your hemp seed lotion, creams, etc., and in some products as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so when we look at the traditional use of cannabis, it has been used from the beginning of ages. So during the 1800s, we have received cannabis in Jamaica when our East Indian laborers came across. And somehow our soil has enhanced the properties of the cannabis. And that's why Jamaican cannabis is has significant phytochemical properties. However, it is a part of the...
Let me ask you though, what is unique about our soil that it has added that kind of potency?
I think it's our geographic location. So where we are in the Caribbean, the abiotic factors, so our soil or the air, the mineral content of our soil. So there are various factors that we find that a lot of our agricultural crops have a significant or a higher yield, or it will have higher components of medicinal value. For example, our guinea hen weed is one, or turmeric or ginger, the pimento, and cannabis. So those are some of our agricultural crops that has shown significant value in terms of what it has in its phytochemical profile. So it may be the same species, but in a different location, Jamaica has better or increased medicinal components within those plants.
Okay. But let me ask you, Doc, I was made to believe growing up and hearing the adults talk about the ganja plant that depending
Yes.
on where in Jamaica it is grown, it had different properties. That, for
That
example,
is,
is that so?
yeah,
Oh.
that is so. And that's a part of it. And there's so much medicinal cannabis research going on, but it's so versatile, there's room for more. So depending on where it is grown and the condition in that particular soil, you'll hear that this parish have the best cannabis and this one has a better one for different ailments. And it boils down to the ratio of the active ingredients.
Oh.
So one soil might produce more THC, that's your tetrahydrocannabinol, that's the component that gets people high or hallucinates, etc. It affects the brain. And then you have the cannabidiol, the more medicinal component. It doesn't get you high, it helps with pain, etc. So depending on the ratio that is existing in the plants, it makes a significant difference in how you can use it and how much effect you will get from the plant as well.
So the biggest ganja growing parishes, I hear, St. Anne,
Yeah,
St.
yeah,
Elizabeth,
authentic.
Westmoreland.
Yeah, the
Those are the
West.
big ganja growing
Yeah,
parishes. Is that so,
yeah.
Doc?
Yes, and that's what we find. Most of the cannabis grown in those areas have a higher quality, and you tend to find a lot of the farms that we're using for medicinal research, etc., in
Yeah.
that region.
But let's
Well,
talk.
yeah.
Let's talk now, Doc, about what are those medicinal uses. So, what are some of the ailments that we see cannabis being effective against?
All right. So, cannabis plant in general, on average, you have about 100 different cannabidiols in the plant. So, significant. It also has over 120 terpenoids. So, that's that fragrance. So, if you're driving past and the car passes you, you can say, all right, I smell cannabis. Or you're walking past, you can know when cannabis is near because of the terpenoids that's in it. There are different crosses now that you can have. So you can have a citrus, say more citrus cannabis or more floral, and all these depend on these components. Now, how we use the plant is due to this particular combination. So let's look at skincare as a start. It's very good with eczema. It's very good with anti-aging and acne and psoriasis and itching and dandruff. And how we can use the cannabis plant, you can create products. So you have a lot of companies will have hemp or cannabis extracts or cannabis oil in their products. So you can have soaps. I have the cannabis soap where you incorporate that leaf and the oil into the soap. You can have your lotion, creams, etc. And it helps to not exfoliate, but acts as a humectant as well. Keep the skin moist and help to reduce that itching that will come with the eczema. It also has anti-inflammatory properties. So if you have like swellings, red pimples and acne, having that application as well also helps to reduce and improve skin quality. You can make a nice serum. So if you have, let's say you get some oil and get a nice massage, you can add some vitamin C and you can create a nice face rub or mask or for the skin, any parts of the skin.
So,
For the hair,
hold on before we
go
go to the
ahead.
hair, Doc. So help me now. So I have eczema and I want to use the cannabis. What am I doing? Am I grinding it up? What am I doing? How am I?
Yes, so you get some cannabis, you soak it in some oil, and then you can use that oil to apply it to the skin.
What kind of
If
oil?
you don't
Like
want
cooking oil?
cooking oil, your
Oh.
coconut oil, castor oil, olive oil. So those are very good oils for the skin. You have so many. Jojoba oil, sweet almond. So those are some that you can use. But I always say, if you have a carrier oil that you can eat, you can apply it to the skin.
Okay.
So that works as well.
Good old coconut
Yeah.
oil then.
Coconut oil, that's very good for the skin. It also has its own properties that it will add and pull more of the compounds from the cannabis. And you can mix and blend depending on how extreme the skin irritations are. You can add some guinea hen weed to it. You can have your moringa to it. You can have your Shemo Lady. So there are different plants you can combine with it to make it even more effective.
Yes.
Looking at the hair, you can
Yes.
do that same oil soak for the hair, but I would say add some nettle, because nettle is very good for the hair. It stimulates growth, especially if you have alopecia, if you have hair loss and dandruff. Soak your cannabis with some nettle and use it to massage the hair. And you try to massage down as well and get it to spread as much as possible. And create your own hair oil. If you want to make a hair oil with that, you just add some beeswax and you can thicken it a bit if you don't want it as runny.
But then if I do that, Doc, me not gonna smell like ganja? And then if I put
No,
no
no.
place?
And that's where essential oils come in. You can also
To give it a
add
little,
little-
nice
Yes.
smell. Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
some sandalwood, and you have that male fragrance. Like when I make products with it, nobody leaves smelling like ganja. So you can actually take a plane
Okay. Oh,
without the dogs sniffing. You're right.
okay.
So you can have that as well. Cannabis and the eyes. Have you heard or known about its use with the eyes? Have you ever heard anything about that?
I
Yes.
vaguely remember reading something about
Cannabis.
was it glaucoma?
Yeah,
Cannabis.
glaucoma.
Glaucoma. I vaguely remember reading about
Yes.
that. Yes.
Two Jamaican, the famous
Yes.
Manly West, and who was the other one?
Yeah.
What's the name of the other one?
I don't know.
Professor Manly West and the other one.
I didn't even know it was
Just
Jamaicans. I just
But
remember reading that it was good for glaucoma.
Yeah.
It is, yes, and it helps reduce the pressure in the eyes. And these scientists worked on a formulation, and we have those available to us today. Traditionally, cannabis has been used as an eye drop or an eye wash to help with clearing up the eyes and also pressure in the eyes. You can also, at night, if you have that soak, you can use it to massage around the eyes. If you have like the sleeping, you call them sleep bags. I don't know, the swollen eyes and so on. And and that helps to relieve the pain and the redness as well. So that's some of the things we can do for the eyes. For the eye wash, you just ensure that you have clean water, make a tea, and you can have it to wash your face and get it running out. Right? Helps with pink eye, conjunctivitis, as well, doing that as well. Yeah, because it's anti-inflammatory and antibacterial, antiviral. So it helps with clearing that up. Yeah.
Okay.
Marigold Weber is asking if it can be used as a love potion. I don't know what she means by that.
I want to know.
Yeah, what you mean by that?
I don't know. Some kind of aphrodisiac maybe, or some kind of stimulant.
Well, no. You have different herbal combinations. It does enhance, it has some aphrodisiac effect when it is used, when you have the terpenoids as an aromatherapy per se, but it gives so many different effects. I wouldn't say if you take it, you will have an aphrodisiac effect, because it varies from person to person.
So you might take it and then you flop.
It might take it and you don't feel stimulated to start, while
Lord.
somebody else is ready. And again, it's that combination and how your cannabinoid receptors respond to the cannabis.
Watch books over there, take notes. Okay. All right, Doc. That works. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Doc.
so-
Anything more before we go to the callers? Or remember, you can call Dr. Denise Daley. We're talking about the cannabis plant, the ganja plant, the marijuana plant, the sensimilla. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the ganja plant this evening. We're talking about the cannabis plant, and Dr. Daley is taking your calls. She's here. We're also going to read to her your feedback on WhatsApp. Dr. Daley,
Yes.
I don't know how you'll react to this one. Barbara Ellington, out of Central Jamaica. Barbara writes, I smoke a joint every now and then. Doctor's orders. Now, like Chantel.
Not necessarily, because it has been used for medicinal cannabis. So they call it medicinal cannabis, where some persons are given that okay to smoke it to reduce anxiety, depression, or pain from post chemotherapy or surgery, cancer treatment. So there is a lot of cannabis tinctures, oils, and joints being used that are being recommended from integrative doctors and different practitioners.
Yeah. Just to remind the listeners, the numbers to call are 630-937-124, 618-8255. We always talk about side effects, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah. What are the potential side effects of cannabis? Obviously, you can hallucinate and that kind of a thing. What else?
That is a major part of the side effects of cannabis. It can also, it disrupts the central nervous system. So it's very delicate, especially for young people. It can cause a lot of disruption in we call it your nerve impulses and the transfer of messages from one nerve to the next nerve. So research did show that the younger you start, it can affect your overall mental processing and function, etc. But then you have other research or other studies that shows that it does no significant damage. However, I would advise overall, the younger you are, the more it can cause significant damage to your central nervous system. So it can cause hallucinations. You can cause depression for some persons. It can debilitate some nerves and therefore some limbs. So different things can happen and different effects based on the type of herb that is used and the source of the herb. You will hear persons who use cannabis to say, ensure that your source is true. Are you planting it? Are you buying it from somebody else? Are they lacing it or adding other ingredients to it? Because we do have unscrupulous persons that will do that as well. So a lot of things can be compounding
and
to affect.
I'm imagining you have to abuse the substance. And when we talk about abusing it, explain that. Is it when you're using it too often, too much times a day? What does that constitute?
Overdosing. So that would count as overuse. So too many times a day, too much at one point, and too often for a long period of time. We have to remember natural remedies can also, there's a thin line between medicine and toxin. And too much, a high concentration for the body, the liver cannot detox it, get rid of it as quickly as possible. So it causes other lingering effects. There are other things that also increase the potency and can increase the toxicity of it. For example, growing up, you'll hear, try not to if you're making cannabis tea, mix it with sugar. I don't know how many of the listeners heard that or know that one. But when you use the milk, especially the condensed milk, it increases, it's stronger. So it knocks you out to sleep and causes a lot of hallucination and different conversations than when you are alert.
Also,
and this is because...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
And this is because it increased the THC that is in the cannabis plant. So heat increases the amount, the concentration that becomes bioavailable. And then the milk, it's because it's fat, it has a lot of fat and oils, it increases the bioavailability. So more is absorbed into the body. So it gives a higher hallucinogenic effects.
Here's one, and I read it because what Ricardo said to me a short while ago. Good evening. This is from PB. Good evening, everyone. My friend and I drank the tea. Couldn't stop laughing all night into the other day. I was tempted to write my will. Never again. Ricardo, tell the listeners what you told me a while ago.
I'm familiar with the excessive laughter. And
what did you imbibe?
I had a cookie.
A ganja cookie?
I had a cookie.
And you were just laughing?
Whole night. At the stupidest, the silliest things, you know. If you ask me, Ricardo, you eat yet? I laugh about 10 minutes. It was surreal.
What was happening to him, Doc?
And that's the effect on the central nervous system. So it's a heightened, you're stimulated and jovial. And that is due to the higher THC that you get. Because when you bake it, it's even more concentrated.
Oh.
So you're getting a high dose, and then your body now has to work to get the dose down and out of the system as quickly as possible. So you're utilizing it as much as possible, and then some persons respond by just sleeping for a long period of time.
Right. So I got a message here from a listener, but I don't know if I can read this because I don't know Broadcasting Commission might shut me down.
Don't.
But she does say that it puts her to sleep and causes her to overdo a particular thing.
Oh.
Which
Okay.
causes an excessive, how do I put this? An excessive reaction that is pleasurable. I think that's safe.
Okay.
Yes, I
Okay.
think
I
that's
understand.
safe. That's
Okay,
safe.
that
Yes.
is safe.
Okay.
Well, again, it goes back to the heightened and stimulated nervous system, central nervous system. So that response, anything that brings the joy and gets you excited, is enhanced, so to speak.
Interesting. Okay.
But that could be a little dangerous if you're in the wrong
And
place.
that's where the thin line between medicine and toxin.
Say the wrong place.
Yeah, the wrong place.
Yes.
Someone else is also saying it makes them eat a lot, Doc. What could be the reason for that? That they eat a lot.
Open the appetite, because some persons will take the tea, will drink the tea. For example, persons on chemotherapy or other chronic diseases that have no appetite, they'll drink the tea and allows them to eat a little bit. Plus, it also provides a lot of vitamins and minerals. It's high in polyunsaturated oils. So opening the appetite, you tend to want to give in and eat more and have more.
Okay.
We're talking about the cannabis plant with Dr. Denise Daley inside Nature's Remedies. We're taking your calls on 876-630-937124. That's 630-937124
Yeah.
or 618-8255.
Financial Quest is asking, can we drink it to have the same medicinal effect as smoking?
Drinking, I would say drink it. Drink it, tinctures. Smoking is not for everyone. I'm not promoting the smoking aspect of it. I know we use it as for different religious purposes and so on, but you can get the benefits similar to your other medicinal plants by drinking the tea, having the tincture, creating a pain rub, soaking the plant, had some pimento, your bastard cedar, and creating a joint, a rub for your pains and so on. So similar to your other medicinal plants, drinking as a tea, tincture, and external use is how I would advise you can use your cannabis.
Kurt Buchanan says, I drank it once, and that thing told me to go to the bank, and I withdrew 600 Canadian dollars and went back to sleep one whole day.
Okay. So again, disturbing the brain and function.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a very powerful plant.
MS is saying it's kind of like the blue pill.
Really?
I don't know anything about any pills.
Yeah.
Blue pill. I don't know about that.
You don't know
What's
is
a
the
blue pill?
You don't know what's the blue pill?
The only pill we know are Panadol and it white.
The blue pill?
I don't
Viagra.
I don't need any blue pills.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
No, you don't have to use it to know about
Oh.
it.
I just don't know about a blue pill. You know blue pill?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Me only know white pill. Panadol. 630-937-124 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. The segment is Nature's Remedies, and we have with us, of course, Dr. Denise Daley. We're discussing the cannabis plant, yeah? What about incorporation into our daily routine? Would you recommend that?
Daily, no, because it's very strong. You can, again, if you're experiencing extreme pain, then you can have the tea and you can have it to balance your blood sugar. But there are other plants that do not have the hallucinogenic or the psychoactive effect that you could have. So there's so many alternatives. So I wouldn't say add it to your daily routine. Extreme cases where it's unique, for example, extreme pain like menstrual pain, arthritis pain, neuropathy, and so on. These tinctures or sublingual drops, can put it under the tongue and allow it to seep into the body or be absorbed into the body rather. These are the extreme cases that you can use it. If you want to try the cannabis tea once a month, allow the body in small doses, allow the body to detoxify or to get it out of the system, and not too much. Not too much, and preferably not with the milk, to get a mild taste of the cannabis plant.
We have a caller for you, Dr. Daley. Williams. Good evening, Williams.
Good night, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening, sir.
Good night, Doc.
Good night. How are you?
Ricardo, good night.
Hello.
I just want to find out from the doctor. When I was much younger, I drink some of the tea with coconut juice. And by my experience, I won't want to experience that feeling again, though. Make me you know Watland Dab.
Watland Dab, yes. House, the Watland Dab house, building material.
Yes,
right?
the kitchen was Watland Dab.
Okay.
And I find myself climbing the kitchen.
True.
Yes.
Seriously, man.
Yeah.
And the whole world, the whole earth was spinning, the house was turning over. And
go take up where you can manage.
I tell you, me vomit.
Oh, Lord.
How old were you then?
That time I was about 15-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The doc warned you about youth and
youth.
And I went to my auntie house and she gave me the tea and me drink 2 cups of it.
2. Yeah.
2 cups. And I tell you, and my father take me down off the kitchen, on the side of the kitchen.
Where you say climb up on the wall?
Yes, climb up on the side of the kitchen and going up on the top.
Away to go.
On the roof.
That time the whole world I try to see if me can balance up myself because the whole world the place I turn over.
Yeah. It's a powerful plan.
Yes.
Small doses.
And from that, I don't fool around it again.
Yes.
You learn your lesson.
Yes, because my mother know what my mother did was cut one lime and squeeze in my eyes. And give me some sweet sugar water to drink. I couldn't go to school for 1 week. 1 week straight, me sick.
Oh. Wow. And
everything I eat just come right back up.
And remind us, what did you take?
Yeah.
The tea with the coconut juice.
Oh. Wow.
The coconut milk. They use the coconut milk and boil it.
Oh.
Lord.
And put inside of it.
All right, Williams.
Yes.
So
that's what they call.
That you will not do again, Williams.
Doc, I have a message asking you to say some more about the effects on menstrual pain.
Because of its anti-inflammatory effect, so it has a high anti-inflammatory effect. It also acts as a vasodilator, so it can open the blood vessels. So it really helps with menstrual cramps and with pain, and it helps with the nerves. So you can have it as a tea, and preferably have it before. So if you know when your period is gonna come, you can have it the day before, a couple hours before, and it helps to reduce the pain significantly. So just have it as a tea, small doses, and see how it affects your body. Because again, it's a very strong plant. We hear the different ways and we hear how it can affect the body. Or you can have some tinctures. Tinctures are sold and drops are also sold.
What's been your experience with the cannabis, the ganja plant? Yes? Philip Jackson says, my brother gave my father some of the tea, and in the night him ball out the bed a turn over with him.
Yeah. You hear a lot of the hallucinating stories. Yeah, the laughs, the cries, the stimulations. Yeah, it's extreme. The vomiting, again, that's a response from your body. Too much is in it. So it's trying to detoxify, but it's also trying to get rid of any excess that has not passed the stomach.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Was
So,
I look like I look it in that I just laugh. I laugh.
Laugh it off.
and you had one cookie.
Well, it was more than one.
One.
To be
Oh,
fair. It was more than one. 630-937-124-618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. We're talking about cannabis, yes, and all the ways it can be used medicinally, and also the ways you can abuse it and the effects of that. Doc, cancer. I've heard people say, there's research that suggests that it can have some effect on cancer treatment.
Yes.
True?
True. The cannabis extracts, research has shown that the cannabis extracts, when they enter the body, there are different modes in which it can be taken, whether by IV injecting or orally or by tea. Once it's inside the body, it is able to invade the cancer cells and causes them to pop. So apoptosis. It also inhibits the growth. And that study where it inhibits the growth was done with leukemia and with breast cancer. So those are one of the research that shows that as well. We've seen it with prostate cancer as well, and other types of cancer. A lot of these have been in cell lines. Some of the research in clinical studies with humans have looked at the effect post-cancer treatment and how does it help with nausea, with pain, with dizziness, and some of the after effects that you'll normally experience, the symptoms. It helps to alleviate and reduce the overall symptom, so to speak. So yeah, it has shown significant effect. Just to add quickly, with cancer research, medicinal research with cancer, what we're seeing is, and a lot of studies show, the ratio in which the cannabinoids, so the THC, affects different types of cancer cells at a different rate. So it's very good overall, but then you say, all right, a ratio of 60-40 works good for this type of cancer, or 30-70, or the cannabinoids by itself is also effective in getting rid of or inhibiting cancer growth.
Brandon Ormsby on YouTube, another experience for you, Doc. My grandpa boiled it and gave me when I was going UA, and I memorized one entire book of notes.
Yeah.
So it aids in memory? Or you just high?
Again, different effect on the central nervous system. That's good.
Someone else
page.
Someone else is asking whether it can trigger mental illnesses, such as schizophrenia.
Yes. And that's one of the things, especially with youth. It can be significantly debilitating. It does affect the nerves and reasoning, and it can cause significant loss. So you've seen a lot of students move from A students, B students, or functioning students, and then once they start the practice of cannabis use, they're not performing as much as they used to, because their cognitive skills have been reduced. So it can definitely affect mental health, and especially for youth.
In a situation like that, can it be reversed? Can those effects be reversed?
Yes, you have that withdrawal period, and the more you get through detox and remove yourself from the situation. So no smoking, no drinking the tea, no exposure. So remove it from the system. You can get your charcoal, activated charcoal. That also helps to remove toxins from the body. You can try to get coconut water with some lime juice, right? Have those, flush the system. Have other herbal teas that help with the kidney and the liver function, such as your bitters. Get some of your rice bitters, drink some of those teas. And you have formal areas or centers that you can go through withdrawal therapy, because it depends on how long they've had it as well. Addiction is a major part of what cannabis has, and also how it affects the central nervous system.
And usually, how long does it stay in the body?
The half-life, it can last for a couple hours. So it can last up to 24. So I would say between 8 and 24 hours, different persons, different quantities, and how quickly the body detoxifies it. Now, if you have a lot more fat, you can have some of it staying longer if you have a high dose as well, because it has a lot of polyunsaturated fats that it can linger and stay within the body.
Yeah. All right, we have another caller for you, Dr. Daley, East Central. Good evening, East Central.
Good evening, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening.
Yes, good.
Mr. Hughes, I have a little problem, so I have to ask the doctor. It's a personal problem, doctor.
Yes.
Sometimes when I find it difficult to maintain the natural life of discipline in terms of, I normally eat, and when I eat at night, I think I eat too much food and it intends to choke me at night. Or is it that I am eating late, and when I eat late, I just go to sleep?
So what you said happened? You eat late, and then it does
as
what?
as in a time like now, I am now eating some cow foot and breadfruit. That's for my dinner now, and I find it difficult because after eating this dinner now, I'm not going to go back on the road now, go walk out, or nothing. So at night, I find it difficult in terms of the way forward. At night, it's come like more and choke.
Yeah.
What?
And go ahead.
First of all, why you eat cow foot and breadfruit 8 o'clock at night?
And that's my dinner for this evening, Sir Ricardo.
Yeah, but you could have eaten that earlier. You said you got a big wok of food that in the hours at night.
But I did on the road, and I just come home. My missus cookie for me, so me just because she did ask me from yesterday what more for dinner today. I'm tell her.
Yeah.
So what kind of breadfruit?
Just regular breadfruit off I chew them again next week.
You roast it or boil it?
No, boil it.
Boil it, okay.
Well, all right. That is exactly what's happening, because our digestive system at night wants to now rest. So when you eat a meal late, your body is now digesting the meal, and it takes 2 hours minimum for your full meal to digest. And just let's say a 1 plate of food, it takes 2 hours for it to get out of the stomach. The small intestine, large intestine goes into the body. So if you go to sleep before that period, you will find discomfort. So what I'd advise is reduce the amount you eat when you're eating late, right? If you're not going to be active after, reduce the amount you eat. Try not to go and sleep yet. So get your body stimulated. Try to have some herbal tea before or after the meal as well. So again, to stimulate your digestive system. And try to walk. You can put some in your mouth, walk. It helps to speed up digestion and causes some of the food to go down faster as well. So try to walk, get a peace walk. I know we usually say sit down and eat, but especially late at night, try to keep moving and get the food going down and reduce the size.
As you're speaking, I am now looking at the fever glass. The fever glass could help digest the tea.
Yeah.
Okay,
so have some fever grass after and help with digesting.
After this meal now, I'll take the fever grass within the next half hour because I'm not going on the road back for this evening. Yeah, so hopefully that works for me.
Yes, and try to wait before you go and sleep. Try at least 1 hour. Get it out of the stomach because that's where the highest discomfort will come from.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
So how much piece of breadfruit in your plate?
3 pieces and 4 pieces of coffee.
And 4 pieces of coffee. That woolly for gravy though.
Juicy.
You know what I'm doing, Mr. Ricardo? Must crush out the breadfruit and the gravy.
That gravy. Sweet, man. Yeah. I know the way there, East Central. Yeah, but I know the way there.
All right, keep moving.
But when you hear the doc say you can't eat so much so late, East Central.
As you're speaking, she just bring me a glass of ice water.
No, tell her make you a cup of tea.
Yes, some tea, man.
Yes, cup of tea. And you don't need the sugar because you have enough carbs to go and for the body to absorb.
No.
All right, East Central.
All right, then. Take care.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Hughes.
Okay, good. Enjoy your cold
He's one
food.
of my favorite callers, isn't it?
Yeah.
630-937-124, 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. Man, same squish out the breadfruit and gravy.
Yes, mushroom.
Let me see what's going on. The YouTubers, yeah, they're advising him to cut the portions. Cut the portion.
Yeah.
That's a heavy meal, though.
At this
Yeah.
hour of the night.
Yeah, man.
The lighter the better, or none at all. Just to have the tea.
Doc, this business of the cannabis plant, if we could, I don't know how much you know, this is a huge multi-billion-dollar business in the world now,
It is.
especially the pharmaceutical side of it.
Yes, it is a significant market. And I have some figures like millions worldwide. For example, the nutraceutical industry for just cannabis is over 3 million US in sales. Right? USA is the largest market and the largest grower. And it has the potential to, for example, to surpass its value of 435 billion. Yeah. Because of its tourism aspect of it as well. So it's a huge industry, medicinally and tourist-wise.
Let's see if we can squeeze in another caller. Omar is on the line for you, Doc. Good evening, Omar.
Hi, please. Good evening, Carter.
Good evening.
Good evening, Omar.
The one thing I know, I've drunk the wheat tea several times, and once you do it with milk, I realize that where there's a lot of fat content, that's where they get the high. Because I later found out that the THC is fat soluble, so you tend to get a higher potency when you use milk. Probably that's why the man who called earlier about doing it with coconut milk was climbing the side of the house.
Yep. That is exactly it. By just eating it, the fat.
So I usually boil the weed, add a half teaspoon of margarine, so we can just add some sugar, and that's how I drink it at night.
With adding margarine.
Yeah.
So you pull out some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get more THC going into the tea.
And what impact does it have on you, caller?
Well, it's good for your little aches and pains in the knees, back, headache. It's good for pain. That's one thing I'm sure of.
But on you personally, apart from it soothes the
it
pain?
gives you a little high. I mean, in the first instance when I just started it, I felt like the bed was, going up in the air with me. But after you get used to it, your system gets used to it. So I didn't have that effect anymore.
Okay.
But definitely, where pain is concerned, there's no need for painkillers when you're not having major pains. You look at aches and pains, it deals with it very good. You wake up feeling quite refreshed and relaxed.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So that works for you?
That works. That's good.
It does.
Good.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes.
Good. Well, Doc, that's where we're going to leave it this evening. We're out of time. It went very quickly.
Went very quickly,
yes. Dr. Denise Daley with another edition of Nature's Remedies. Thank you so much, Doc.
Yeah.
Thanks to our
You're
callers.
welcome, man.
Yes, thanks to our callers, our YouTubers, our WhatsAppers, and our tweets. See you next Tuesday, Dr. Daley.
Bye, and take care. Thank you.
Right,
Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Night.
Good. Thanks to our producer. We should tell you that the earthquake unit has confirmed that there was a small tremor felt around 14 minutes to 6 this evening. It registered 3.7 magnitude on the Richter scale. The epicenter was 10 kilometers south of Hope Bay, Portland. Yes, at 5:46 this evening local time. 3.7 on the Richter scale. A focal depth of 6.2 kilometers. It was reportedly felt in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine.
That
fault
Portland
line,
area, yes.
Hope Bay,
Yes,
in
very
Portland.
active.
It just keeps on shaking, moving. Yeah? Wow.
Oh, God.
Have a good night. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.